But one of the, when you know, the Democrats and Republicans were trying to negotiate a budget, one of the things that everybody on our floor, for the Board of Legislators, agreed is that we needed to maintain our public safety at levels that, you know, just kept things running. And our county police had said, we just need you to fill in. We have 3 vacancies. We need those filled in. We are beyond cut to the bone. So there was agreement among the Republicans, Democrats, and the county executive that those positions would be filled. We're now almost in July, and those positions, not only have they not been filled, but since that time, there have been 9 retirements. And we have a very, very serious situation. County parks, you know, our parks are running at full throttle right now, and they are not staffed to keep people safe. It really is disturbing.
And these are positions that are in the budget, he's just not filling the position.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it wasn't like there were layoffs and they were taken out.
No,
okay.
no.
You know, that's the first you know, responsibility of government, right?
Absolutely.
To keep us safe and healthy.
And people, you know, I think the agreement with taxation is we'll pay for services, but, you know, we expect the services back. And
yes.
I think there's an understanding that there are essential services, public safety being one of them. And this essential service is not being, you know, adequately fulfilled.
And I think over the years, you know, it's not going to be apparent to people how much he's eviscerated the government for a few years. You know, the planning department, you know, the sewer department, and, you know, all these vital functions. You know, nobody thinks about the sewers until the sewers don't work.
Right.
And then everybody thinks about the sewers.
Right, right.
So, you know, these are important jobs that are being left unfilled.
Well, speaking of jobs, I mean, just in the instance of infrastructure and the infrastructure that has the needs that we have, bridges, roads, I mean, you name it, it's just not getting done. And when you think about the job sector and how we could be putting a significant workforce together to fulfill these obligations, it's really hurts us.
It's the best time to borrow money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a municipality, you get a really cheap rate on capital projects.
Absolutely. So as the Board of Legislators, again, Republicans, Democrats agree, let's go out to market and bond the money.
Yeah.
You get 100% you know, agreement almost all the time. I will say there are exceptions, of course, but we generally okay, yes, let's go to market, and then those bonds never are sold.
Wow. Well, you know, there's a philosophy, I think, on the 9th floor that's an ideological. You know, all government is bad, and that, you know, we will you know, drown the baby in the bathtub if we get it that small, and that's the way they operate.
Yeah.
They really don't. They care more about press releases than actually doing the job.
Yes, and so you know, I thought when I went to the state of the county and I heard the county executive say that, oh, you know, again, for the 2017 budget, you know, I'm going to be presenting a budget that has, you know, no tax increase, keeping taxes flat, without really looking at the math.
Right.
I mean, again, show me the municipality, the local municipality in Westchester County that hasn't raised taxes because, and by the way, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Everybody's in the same boat. You know, you want to provide, again, essential services at the least cost. But as we know, there are certain expenses that keep going up and up and up. You have to be able to maintain good government.
Yeah, good government costs money.
Yeah.
You know, and people move here for good government. They move here for good schools.
Yep.
They move, you know, you can live in a community upstate where, you know, you have to take your own garbage. You have your own, you know, septic system. But, you know,
yes,
we moved here because we didn't want to do that. At least I didn't. But do you think that it'll be the same this year? There'll be more shenanigans, and it'll be a 0% tax increase, and we'll be borrowing money from Peter to pay Paul? Or?
I think it's going to actually be worse, because I believe that last fall that the administration knew that there were actually 2 buildings that were going to be sold. One was just for $3.75 million, but the other one was going to be very significant. And my belief, we're out of buildings to sell, basically. Yeah. So, you know, again, I think every year it's always the same groups that get put on in the line of fire. Our nonprofits, and also our parks. You know, each year I have seen every curator's position for our county parks on the chopping block, and each year we have to scramble to find the money to keep those curators for our county parks. Nonprofits that, you know, again, initially the administration and the nonprofits had worked together to say, look, as nonprofits, you can provide the services that the county is providing, but at a less expensive cost. So we will pay you, it'll cost us less, and they provided really good service on many levels. And
they knew the community they were working in.
Absolutely. And what has happened is that now it's like that is forgotten, and it's like, no, you've been providing the service. I don't know how you're going to pay for it, but we're going to cut back what we're giving you substantially. Yeah. And also the arts. And the arts are something that I think we in Westchester are so fortunate to have great arts organizations. I mean, you know, if you look right here in Mamaroneck, we have the Mamaroneck Artists Guild, we have the Emmeline Theater, we have, you know, so much. And, you know, even the STEMtastic at Hummocks this year received a grant through Arts Westchester. And Arts Westchester provides a wonderful service to, again, help all these small organizations with some additional funding, and larger organizations like the Emmeline. And you know, that's probably going to be one of the ones that we're going to have to look again at how do we restore funding. And actually, their funding has been kept so flat for so long. I mean, we're talking like a decade. At this point, we really should be looking at increasing that, because for every dollar that they get of Westchester County tax money, $56 absolutely turns into $56 of economic development for the communities. So it's an economic driver, and it's really important, and certainly this is something that we should be encouraging.
Yeah, you talk about the arts, and during World War II, I guess, you know, money was tight in Britain, and what the finance minister goes to Winston Churchill. He says, you know, we need to cut money for the arts. And Churchill looked at him and said, then what are we fighting for?
Exactly. Yeah. And that is, you know, yes, it's a great quote. And certainly that's something that I think we need to be mindful of. It's one of the
intangibles that make life worth living.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not great news that I have to tell you about where we're going with the budget, but
elections have consequences, and the voters need to see that, and you know, hopefully they will. And you know, you can't fool all the people all the time forever.
Well, I've heard you have a very smart viewership, so I'm counting on them to
all five of them.
So, you know, that helps when people help spread the word, because the soundbite of, well, look, I'm not raising your taxes, and everything's great. You know, that. Some people are going to respond and go, fantastic, we don't need to worry. But pay attention here. This is really important.
This is important. You know, when the sewers start falling apart and there's no police protection, that's what society's about.
Absolutely.
You know, just as long as we're talking about police and protection, recently, you know, we're soon after the tragic events in Orlando, and you know, the murder of 49 people who were just out for a night in the town. And you know, somebody who purchased a weapon that should only be carried by soldiers goes in and you know, kills 49 and wounds dozens and dozens of others. And right now, as we speak, last week, Senator Chris Murphy had a filibuster, which I'm very proud of, that the guy's name is Murphy. Not that we're related, but you know. And right now, on the floor of the House of Representatives, John Lewis, the great civil rights leader, is leading a sit-in to demand a vote.
Yes.
And you know, we
God bless those elected officials that are willing to stand up and just say enough. Enough. I mean, you know, how many more of these tragedies do we have to watch? And you know, I think what Senator Murphy was doing last week, saying for enough with the moments of silence. It is just the epitome of emptiness.
Yes.
Let's do something.
Yes.
And
It's like
you
prayer
know,
without works is empty. Yes.
yeah, 3 actions. We need to take those military-style rifles off of, put back that ban on military-style assault weapons. You know, somebody said to me, and they were right on, that sure, a gun can kill one person, but hate can kill one person, but a gun like that can kill 50.
Yeah.
So
Blink of an eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blink of an eye.
And then the no fly, no buy. I mean, that common sense
I don't know how
gun
you argue
laws.
with that.
It's just common sense gun laws, and then lastly, universal background checks.
Yes.
And it just
And this doesn't mean people can't have guns.
no,
It just means
no.
we don't want to give them to crazy people. We don't want to give them to people who abuse their
Absolutely.
wives. We don't want to give them to people with criminal records.
Absolutely, and it really disgusts me. I mean, I was so upset after the vote on Monday, and that the 4 pieces of legislation just
It's heartbreaking.
all failed.
You know what? You have young children. My children. We both are parents. After Newtown, you would think something would change.
Yes.
Not
I
to,
did think that,
Not
yes.
to take away from the tragedy in Orlando. First graders are babies.
Yeah.
You don't
And
realize that until
innocent
you're older.
and-
They're just babies.
Yeah.
And somebody went in and shot up all those first graders. And it was
Yeah.
just
It's
what's it got to take?
It is really, really astounding. And, my Facebook picture, I right now have had since December a message set up by, I think it was New Yorkers Against Gun Violence, which is enough gun violence. And I thought about over, the last 6-7 months, changing that, just, but every time that there was another incident, I was like, I've got to keep that up because people need to stop for a second and just think about it.
30,000 Americans die every year through guns, either suicide or gun violence. That's almost the same amount of people we lost in 3 years of the Korean War.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that we're the only developed nation that lets this nonsense happen.
Yes.
You know what? And I think it's very important that if someone is running for office, and I don't care if it's a trustee in a village, or if it's a state senator, or if it's a congressman, you should ask them as a voter, what are you going to do about this? Where do you
Absolutely.
fall on this?
Absolutely.
And don't let the guy say, well, I'm a trustee and it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Because it takes all of us. This is going to, the power of the NRA is frightening.
It is. And here's another frightening thing. So in Westchester County, you think, well, what could we possibly do, to help the cause? So we, a group of us got together. We sponsored legislation again to eliminate gun shows from the county center. And guess what? On our agenda for Monday night's meeting, there were a group of legislators. I will say it came from the Republican minority leader who did what's called severing it from our agenda, meaning it's not going to be sent to committee for vetting. It's severed. We'll have to try again, but it was taken out of our agenda.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
It's shameful. It really is.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, I'm glad you told us that, and we will find out who they were and take appropriate action.
Yeah.
Well, Catherin, thank you very much. This was a great conversation, a lot of substantive issues, but I'm getting your wrap-up sign.
Sure.
So I'll see you around this summer. You'll be at the Fireman's Parade next week, I'm sure.
Actually, I have to take my daughter to Michigan,
Well, you
and
have a good
then
excuse.
I'm taking my son to Niagara Falls. So
Lovely.
Yeah.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll all see you around the town
We will.
over the summer.
I will definitely see you around, and thanks for having
Oh,
me.
you're
This
welcome.
was great.
It's a pleasure. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.